As most of you guys already know, I got to play in the queue. Huge shout out to the Play Golf Myrtle Beach guys. Without them, none of this would be possible. 16 golfers for one spot on the PGA Tour. I'm gonna be reacting to my full round. A lot of you guys have probably already seen my score, but if you haven't, stay tuned. Couple things to keep in mind. This was filmed at the beginning of March. It was about 38 degrees when I teed off. I was wearing 2 pairs of pants. And huge shout out to Thomas for being on the bag and my girlfriend for filming this round. My next Pause to Pro will be a US Open local qualifier, and I will be wearing mics for that. In these tournament rounds, it's really hard for me to get interactive with the camera and stuff like that. I just get so focused and dialed in on the tournament that I just struggle with the content side of things. Let's jump right into the video. If you're new to the channel, a like and subscribe would go a long way. We're gonna ramp up the Pause to Pros this summer since I know this is only my 3rd one this year. Let's go see if we can make it into the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Playing out of Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, Ben Kruper.
All right, guys, here we are jumping right in. Funny thing is, I hadn't even moved to Hilton Head yet when this was filmed. They asked me where I was from, and I kind of panicked and said Hilton Head. So they announced me as being from Hilton Head. First tee shot here. This is a tight little dogleg left par 4. If you guys didn't know, we're playing at TPC Myrtle Beach. It had been holding the Dustin Johnson World Junior right before this, so it was in pristine shape. Rough was super thick. Greens were pretty darn quick. Playing about as tough as it possibly could be. The only thing was, it was a pretty calm day. That was nice, but it was insanely freezing. Like I said, I was wearing 2 pairs of pants. You might be able to tell from my legs looking a little bit thicker. No, I have not been hitting the gym that much. I'm just wearing 2 pairs of pants. We got this 80-foot putt for birdie to start the day. Our ball barely got on the green. Putted it about 10 feet by. This is actually my 2nd round with this Lab putter. Guys, I've just partnered with Lab. Code BEN10 at checkout for 10% off. But yeah, this is my 2nd round and first tournament round with this Lab putter. So it was very new in the bag, and we knocked that in. It's always good to see putts like that drop, especially on the first hole of the day. A little bit of a grindy par there. But my front nines in my events recently have been a little bit grindy. I've been averaging a 38 front 9 scoring average and a 32.5 back 9 scoring average in the 2 events prior to this round. But if we want a chance to make it into a PGA Tour event, we cannot start out the round nervy. And guiding the ball, we just got to go for it the whole time. I didn't strike that drive the best, but we're still in the fairway. We got about 265 to the pin. I grabbed my 2-iron and tried to hit a hard draw and just didn't really commit to this one either. Left it out a little bit to the right. Like I said, in the beginning of my rounds, a lot of the time, it's just a little bit nervy and a little bit grindy, and that's okay. I feel like the one advantage I have over a lot of the creators in the field, at least, is I am very used to tournament golf. Haven't played in as much as I would like to in the last year or so, but throughout my whole childhood, I never stopped playing tournament golf. I'm very much used to it. If I have to grind out a round, I can usually do that pretty well and post a pretty good score and not embarrass myself. Really good chip there. It wasn't sitting in that great of a lie. Had some nice soft hands on that one. Hit a little bit of a mini flop. Just kind of trickled it to 3.5 feet out. 2 grindy pars to start the round. Not a problem by me. Get the blood flowing a little bit early. Short game is working, so it seems. This hole, fun fact, I hit it OB left in the practice round, and it just didn't set up well to my eye. It's a little bit longer of a par 4, so it's not like I can take a 2-iron or 3-wood and lay back or something, even though in retrospect, maybe a 3-wood off the tee wouldn't have been such a bad play. Not liking this tee shot the way I did. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even that bad of a tee shot. We're just barely off the rough there, and there's not much rough next to the fairway, so we're realistically about 10 yards left of the fairway. Kind of got unlucky here a little bit on that first one. There was just kind of a big stick laying behind my ball. It was a little bit risky if I wanted to move it. And these 10 minutes were quite possibly the most stressful 10 minutes on a golf course I've ever had in my life. I mean, just with all the cameras on you, all the build up to this event, all the practice I had, and it's just like, I just didn't do a good job managing my brain through this hole. My mind was racing. My heartbeat was definitely going up quite a bit. I was in panic mode. I had played this hole pretty slow, so I was kind of rushing. And if any of you out there are familiar with tournament golf, you guys know this tends to happen sometimes, and it's not a very fun feeling. It's tough to watch this one back because I just kind of unraveled. It really isn't an insanely hard hole. I probably could have done a better job with that second shot and just taken a 5-iron or something and tried to punch it up on the green instead of making perfect contact with it. At least we make that 5-footer, 6-footer for double there. I mean, we would have had no chance if we made triple. So that's a good thing.
Super tough double there. Even that bad of a drive, I pulled it like 10 yards from being in the fairway, and there was just a kind of like a big enough of a stick that I didn't think it would make that much of a difference behind my ball that I couldn't really touch, or else the ball would have rolled, and I barely made contact with the stick, and the stick just shot the ball directly right. Two bad like shots and management in a row that really could end up costing me this event. But the nerves have kind of went away at this point. We're 2 over through 3, and we're behind the 8 ball, so we got to make some birdies.
Another 450 yard, pretty tight par 4 here, so I can't get too aggressive. I got to keep my head in it. You know, I don't want to start compounding errors, that's for sure. See this drive up pretty low. I had been feeling so good with my driver leading up to this event, and I still am right now. It's just sometimes under the gun, my pause and my tempo just gets a little bit quicker. You guys can probably notice if you watch a lot of my stuff. The tempo is just a little bit different this event. And the swing still felt solid, don't get me wrong. It didn't feel like there was any really bad swing thoughts or bad swings in there. Just a little bit quicker. I can notice it. Our drive rolled a little bit into the rough. We took a pitching wedge from about 150 there. Got it to the middle of the green about 20 feet out. It would be super nice if this one dropped. Get one of those shots back. We're going to need to make a lot more, that's for sure. And we did. We dropped it just like that. So far, the putter is the MVP, being 1 over through 4 holes. I'm striking it really, really bad. I've hit 2 out of 4 greens, got up and down on hole 2, made a nice double bogey save on hole 3, made a 10-footer for par on hole 1, and then a 20-footer on hole 4. So right out the gate, the lab is doing its job, that's for sure. I'm putting solid, which is good to see because my first couple events of the year, I hadn't been putting so great, hitting the ball really, really well. So when we start hitting the ball poor, our putting can still save us. So that's a good thing. We're still grinding out the round. We're 1 over through 4. Really sloppy iron shot back there. Really not committed. 2 of the 3 greens we've hit up to this point, we've given ourselves like 80 footers for birdies. So I don't even know if I count those as green in regulations. Yeah, this putt I didn't do that good of a job with, honestly. I didn't think it was going to break that much. The speed wasn't bad. It's pretty good speed. Thomas and we didn't see anything in this. Not that much, at least. So we're going to have like a 10-footer here to grind out for another par. I promise you guys, this round gets prettier. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit. Basically another 1-putt. Feels like a 1-putt. Feels like we've 1-putted our first 5 holes of the day, honestly. The putter is doing a really good job keeping us alive in this event, giving us a chance. If we want to start rattling off some birdies, that would be lovely. Got a par 5 here. Really good swing on this one. Probably one of my better driver swings of the round, considering I think this is the longest par 5 on the course, and definitely the tightest too. We got a 4-iron here from 220 about, I want to say. Pulled it a little bit left. This camera angle definitely makes it look like I hit a 60-yard pull because that green looks a lot closer than it actually is, but it wasn't too bad of a shot. We left ourselves in the bunker, and I typically like my bunker game. Still 1 over to this point. I hadn't heard anything about what my playing competitors were doing. I know the kids in my group were kind of tearing it up at this point. I think all 3 of them were under par. Fun fact about that, actually, Tyler and Trevor were the finalists in last year's U.S. Junior Am. So literally 2 of the best juniors in the world. And Jake Albert, who is also one of the best juniors in the world, who lives in my previous hometown state of Virginia, who used to win, seems like, every junior event. So yeah, they put me with 3 junior sticks and just said, go out there, Ben, try and hang. Kind of a tough par there. We actually gave ourselves a really good look for birdie, and I put a really good stroke on that birdie putt. Just didn't read it quite right. It kind of lost its pace at the end and just took a little bit of a break. Easily could have made that and gone back to even par, but it was a good stroke. I'm not mad about it. It was a good bunker shot. We're still 1 over through 6. Could be worse, that's for sure. This round could be going worse. So we just got to keep that in the back of our minds. Left that iron shot a little bit short, but look at this chip. My short game is definitely keeping me in this event. Solid chip there. Lie wasn't even that good. Grinding out again. Just another par, another grindy par, another 1-putt. Those putting stats right now are definitely inflated. And this was a pretty funny hole here. Kind of a short par 4. Another really good driver swing. I just sent this one high up there, super high, baby draw, kind of more of the norm for what I like to hit. Just over that bunker. You couldn't really see that one land, but nope, I forgot. My girlfriend was filming a lot of squirrel action for the next couple holes. This is actually pretty funny. These squirrels in Myrtle Beach are just way too friendly. They will literally come sit on your lap, I think, if you gave them a treat. Look at that. That's hilarious. I'm glad we kept that in the video. Glad, because that's probably more entertaining than my ball striking was to watch this round, that's for sure. But we got this like 70-yard shot, middle of the fairway, put a little pause on it. There's like a big tier right in front of the pin, and just bad shot there. Didn't get it on the right tier. From this angle, it looks like I also pulled it, but it was right at the pin, just short, about 30 feet. Up the hill. This was actually a really funny one to watch on the Play Golf Myrtle Beach video, because I just ran that in the back of the cup, hit the pin, and you could hear Thomas and I laughing after I made it. But hey, we get back to even par. The putter is lights out, I could say at this point. I think it's safe to say. Lights out. It's hilarious. It's pretty funny how my golf can change from time to time. I haven't putted this well in years, at least through this point. Hole 9 here is a tough one. Long par 4. Water cuts in on the right if you take driver. So I just took the 2-iron and swung hard, and it was a really good swing. Probably hit it about 250, 255, right down the middle. Another squirrel interaction. Look at this. Right up to her feet. Right up to her feet. I'm sure she was loving the squirrel action a lot more than watching me golf. But yeah, 210 here to the finish. I hit a 5-iron. Just another dead pull with a long iron. So that's something to keep in mind. I hadn't really thought of that after this round, those two swings, but they definitely could have been a little bit better. Really thick lie. It actually took us a couple minutes to find this ball, even though there were spectators watching this. That's how buried it was. Did a really nice job gouging it out of that rough, though. I feel like growing up playing in thick, bent rough really was an advantage for this kind of event and playing these kind of courses, and that's a tough one to see right there. I don't even think that one was a bad stroke, considering we'd been putting so well. Just missed a 4-foot slider like that. I had to play it a little bit outside the cup.
We kind of scrapped our way around that 9, and the fact that I missed that shorty to shoot even, little devastating. I know I'm going to have to play some lights out golf in the back 9 now, so I'm going to kind of start to press a little bit and start to try and make a lot more birdies.
All right, going to the back 9. Mindset definitely changed a little bit. Tyler Watts in my group was 3 under for this point. So I was 4 back. I was 4 back going into the back, and he did not look like he was going to start mishitting any shots anytime soon. He was playing some really solid golf, and in my mind, he was kind of the one to chase. I hit a 2-iron off the tee there again. This one's definitely not a driver hole. Right side of the fairway, solid swing. We got 140 out here. My short iron game going into this round definitely was my weak point, in my mind at least. That had been costing me the most shots prior. I was aimed about 5 feet left of the pin. I really didn't want to mess around with that water, and I pushed it about 15 feet right. Got a little too aggressive, and that ball, luckily enough, stayed up. It was very close to rolling all the way back into the water. I was contemplating if I could even play the shot, because I would have gotten a drop right there next to the green since it did cross. And it was just so down there. It was kind of on a flat lie with an upslope right in front of it, so I was worried about getting the ball up quick enough. Yeah, this was a tough one. I knew, though, we needed to get this one up and down. We're running out of holes after this point. There's really not a whole lot of birdie holes on the back 9. Not for the way we're striking it, at least. And I pulled that one out. That was such a good chip shot under the circumstances, too, and for the lie. The hole before, we also hit a great chip shot. So the short game is just really working today on all cylinders, it feels like. And another lip out, 2 in a row. Missed a 4-footer on 9 and a 5-footer on 10 for back-to-back bogeys. And that really was the changing point in the round. I'm glad you guys are able to see this now, because if you watched the Play Golf Myrtle Beach video, they didn't show too much of my middle of the round like that. And I was really one of the only creators in the mix going into hole 9. Now we're 2 over par, behind the 8 ball a little bit again. And just kind of two tough pills to swallow back-to-back. I'd been really grinding out the round of state, even par, and putting my butt off. And honestly, those 2 strokes didn't even feel that bad. I just, I feel like if I had gotten a couple more days to maybe practice with this lab on these short putts, I might have felt a little bit more comfortable over them, because obviously I'm putting pretty darn well with the lab, and I like the putter a lot. But yeah, 2 tough holes there. 2 really tough holes. Could have been striking it a little bit better as well. Obviously, it's kind of easy to see. But good drive here on hole 12. We're trying to bounce back with some birdies now. Now we're definitely going for it. Everything, pretty much. Good drive. Just kind of a poor wedge shot, 20 feet short of the pin. We're going to be tapping in for our par here. Stress-free par. Those are good to see after the last couple holes at least. We got a drivable par 4 next hole, long par 3 after that, and then a par 5 after that. So maybe we can get some shots back here in the next coming holes. I decided to go 2-iron on this hole, and looking back on it, I am definitely upset at my choice. I mean, I was playing a little too safe at this point, I think. In my mind, I was trying to play aggressive, but I just wasn't confident enough in my golf swing to take a driver out, tee it down low, and just play my little 5-10 yard fade, which has been such a consistent shot for me in these events recently, has just been teeing down the driver as low as possible, almost like a DOD, and that being my safe shot. And that would have been perfect for this hole, and I just don't know why I didn't do it. So, mental mistake there for sure, but we left ourselves like the 60-yard tricky shot. Did a really nice job judging it. We judged the bounce pretty well, and we gave ourselves about a 10-footer up the hill, so a good look at birdie, to say the least. And this is probably my worst stroke of the event, considering we have to start making some of those. And we just left it short. Just not a confident stroke whatsoever. You could tell I'm a little bit frustrated with myself, more so than I think missing those 2 shorties back-to-back, because at this point we are running out of golf holes, and we just can't miss many opportunities like that if we want a chance. This might have been my shot of the event, though. 205 to the pin, par 3, over a big bunker. Pin was tucked behind that bunker on the left. Definitely a tough shot. Hit a super high draw there. One of my favorite shots to hit with a 6-iron. Rolled right past the cup. I don't know how, from where the ball mark was to where the ball ended up, how it did not go in. Would have been super cool to get a hole-in-one in the queue, but we're going to have to settle for a birdie nonetheless. Definitely a good one, though. Definitely picked up a shot and a half on the field. Going into a par 5 now, we're back to 1 over with a fighting chance. Man, I just got a little aggressive on this drive. This hole just took all the gas out of the tank. I didn't hit that bad of a drive. I pulled it a little bit, but about 5 yards from being perfect, and it just hit the top of that hill and kicked down left into the hazard. It's just too steep of a slope to mess with. You can miss it as far right as you want off the tee there, and I decided to be aggressive, and I missed it just a little bit left where I needed to. So we had to drop, hitting 3 there, just short of the green. Now we got to get this up and down for par instead of looking to birdie a par 5. And my last 2 tournament rounds prior to this event, I had played 8 par 5s and 10 under, so par 5s was really my strength and felt like my strength going into this event. I feel like my driver is consistently pretty straight on par 5s, and I can grind out birdies pretty easily most of the time. So trying to make this one now to stay even par through the first 3 par 5s, which is definitely not ideal, not what I was thinking in advance of this round, and we bogeyed this one. We putted that one like 4 feet by. Now we're actually fighting for a bogey. This one was not a guarantee, that's for sure. It was still 4 feet up the hill, a little bit right to left. We knocked that one in, though. Make our bogey. 1 over on the par 5s so far. And this one was a pretty short one, relatively. I could have just bailed right with the drive and made birdie the hard way if I needed to. And that one pretty much kicks us out of the event, gives us no chance. We got 4 holes left, and we are 2 over par. I just, even if we birdie out, get to 2 under, in my mind, someone was going to shoot something in the 60s. There are too many good players not to. Decent drive here up the right side. I wish I just kind of fanned one out last hole. That bogey on the par 5 still was in my mind a little bit at this point. I was definitely disappointed, considering I kind of knew I needed a birdie, and was even talking about pre-round that could be a potential eagle hole if you hit a good enough drive. You only have like a 7-iron out. Really good shot here, though. We're going to give ourselves another chance at birdie at least. Kind of stinks watching this back because we worked so hard this round. We fought so hard. This putt really just snapped early on me. I didn't read that at all. Neither Thomas nor I saw that in the putt. Really wasn't too bad of a stroke like some of the other ones this 9, but just kind of snapped early. At this point, we stayed 2 over through 15. The kids in my group were fading a little bit. I know Tyler had made a couple bogeys on the back. None of them were doing anything better than 1 or 2 under at this point. So I was kicking myself for that too. They weren't playing that great on the back 9. I had a really good chance to narrow the gap and even possibly take the lead if I had just had a couple decent putts, decent shots this 9 in certain moments and just managed the 9 a little bit better. Pulled our drive dead left here. I just kind of was in scramble point here, give up mode. It was bad. I should have taken more time on the punch out and at least gotten it back to the fairway, because here I tried to hit a hook out of the rough onto the green from like 90 yards, and that's never going to go well for you. I actually almost got it up there, but yeah, I just didn't take my time well enough here. Did not take my time. It's not that long of a hole either. This was one of the holes pre-round that I told myself if I was a couple under, It was a pretty tight fairway. I was going to take a 2-iron and just lay back. Instead, I took the driver out, being 2 over like I was. I was trying to birdie out in the last hole, maybe even make an eagle or something like that. You never know. I wasn't giving up any hope, so I kind of played this whole stupid aggressive. But, yeah, missed our bogey putt there. Got this tap in for double. We've made 2 doubles on the round now, and we're 4 over par. But don't click off the video just yet, because this ends in a pretty good way to end, I would say. I'll let you guys be the judge, but cool par 3 here. Downhill, I had about 175. I think I had an 8-iron just right of the pin. I actually wasn't sure right when I hit this if it was going to cover the water or not. We bounced back from our double on the front 9 with a birdie directly after it, so let's see if we could do the same here. We got about this 20-footer right to left, pretty big swinger here, and of course we knock it in. Bounce Back Ben was my nickname as a child in events, so that, I would say that's still the same to this day. Nice little birdie there after the double. Get back to 3 over par. Now we're just trying to post a respectable score. At this point, I know there's obviously no chance, but you know, we still want to post a respectable score, have respect for ourselves, and finish out the round in a good fashion. Good drive through up the left side of the fairway. This is such a good finishing hole here at TPC Myrtle. I really do love this hole. Such a daunting second shot. Like, if you're going into this hole a couple under par with a chance to win, it's just, it'll make you think. I'm shocked everyone just doesn't bail right a million yards, you know. But even then, you have a tough third shot if you're going to do that. So I had a 4-iron here. Funny enough, it wasn't in a good lie. I was really worried about contact and getting it over that water, so I played it at the right edge of the green. Honestly, one of my better shots of the day as far as what shot I had to hit for the circumstance I was given. I could not get this one high enough to land soft on the green, so we did a good job landing it just short right, rolling it up there. Got this 45-footer. Huge left to right swinger here. Super tough putt. I was not sure about this one, but right when I hit it, it was kind of just tracking the whole way. And this would have been so sick. This would have been such a sick way to end if I would have knocked that one in. I feel like I end my tournament rounds pretty well in the past, or like, I don't know. That would have just been a cool highlight reel moment there. We're going to tap in for our birdie. Back-to-back birdies to end the round. We made 5 birdies. Finally got one on a par 5. Ended with a 2 over 74. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that round. It was a roller coaster, that's for sure. Some negatives to take, but also some positives.
All right, let's recap the round, go over this leaderboard a little bit. We tied for second out of the creators with George Bryan. The only guy we lost to was Sean Walsh, and he shot even par. Got to play with him in the practice round beforehand. Super nice dude, and he didn't miss hit many shots. Only finished 5 shots out of the lead, which honestly, from watching that round back, is even more devastating. I had those 2 missed short putts on 9 and 10. There's 2 shots right there, and then the doubles were just, talk about stupid. Could have been avoided. At most should have been bogeys. Obviously, you're going to hit bad drives through the round. And I bogeyed that par 5 in the back 9 as well. There's just some really stupid mistakes that, you know, with the nerves and all the build-up, and I definitely could have managed a little bit better. At least 4 shots I'm just thinking of could just swipe off my round just from stupid mistakes alone, could put us at 2 under. So it's tough to watch it back, for sure. A couple positives to take from this event though. My first tournament round of the year, I had 5 birdies and an eagle. My second tournament round of the year, I had 5 birdies and an eagle. And this was my third at the time, and I had 5 birdies. So we've made 15 birdies and 2 eagles through our first 3 tournament rounds of the year, which is pretty impressive, honestly. It's 19 basically birdies if you want to count it like that. The fact that I'm only 2 under in 3 tournament rounds with basically 19 birdies isn't good. We've been making some mistakes for sure. We've been making our fair share of birdies, but we've made some doubles along the way, and we got to tighten up those mistakes a little bit. Huge shout out to the Play Golf Myrtle Beach guys again for hosting this event, giving me the chance to qualify for a PGA Tour event. If I get invited back next year, I will be ready. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Pause to Pro episode 5. Stay tuned to the next one.